Yes.
Is there any symbolism or stories associated with the Kiawe tree?
Symbolism or stories with the Kiawe tree? Not really, because the Kiawe tree is a modern, it's been brought in. It's a mesquite. And it was brought in just like the cactus was brought in. Mesquite. It's called it's a sharp, prickly, sort of related to the acacia. Okay, it has thorns, and it's used very much, very similar kind of tree is used in Africa as barriers against wild animals. Here it was used for cattle pens, as well as firewood during the plantation days, okay, and the cattle raising days. And so it was brought in from the southwest, along with cactus too that we find in some places on the islands. That stuff was all brought in. There is a plant called pukiawe. Now pukiawe is an endemic, it's a local plant, and that was used for particular purposes. Sort of the Hawaiian equivalent of smudging, except it wasn't like American Indian smudging. If a chief wanted to, who had a lot of mana, so much mana that his mana was dangerous to the people, what this meant was that his influence, his power, had all kinds of rules connected with it. And for him to walk among the people was dangerous to their health and well-being, because it was almost impossible not to break a rule. And the penalty for breaking one of those rules, which were called kapus, was death. So if a chief had a high enough mana, which meant he had rules that were so strict about his presence and his movements, for instance, that if his shadow fell on you, it would be death, or if your shadow fell on him, it would be death. It makes it tough to kind of walk around and be one of the boys, okay? And sometimes the chiefs wanted to do that kind of thing. So then there would be a priest, a special kahuna, who would take some of the dried pukiawe plant, burn it, and smudge the chief, and this was symbolic of diminishing or temporarily erasing the rules. They called it diminishing his mana, which was true. Mana means influence, okay, power. And so if this took away the kapus, that would certainly diminish his mana so that it would be not so dangerous anymore. Okay? And so they would do that, and it would last, it was done like for 24 hours. Okay? Or from the time it was done till sunrise the next day. And so during that time, he could move among the people, and it didn't matter what his shadow did, because there were no kapu about it for that time period. Then the sun comes up and he's back in his old power again.